This is the Samsung A55, a $450 smartphone that offers a lot of what you get in the S24 series, such as a design language, the rear camera setup, but without the costs. So what is the A55? How does it compare to something like the S24 series? And in general, what are our thoughts on the A55? Firstly, let's talk about the design language and get that out the way. What you're seeing here is the migration of the S24 series design language carried over to the new A55, as well as the A35 as well. Those were both released at the same time, and you have this rear triple camera, flatter rails on the sides, flat front display. Oh my goodness, try saying that 2 times fast. Jesus. Anyway, generally speaking, fit, feel, finish is excellent. It does have this ridge along the side here, which we'll try to get a photo of to show you what we mean. Essentially, it's a little bumper that houses the volume up and down key and the power key, which is nice. In terms of the front display, let's look at that quickly. What you get here is narrower borders, I would guess, but still pretty chunky borders. Notification, lol. And then a 6.6 inch AMOLED display, which again is flat. Looks great. Honestly, color reproduction on that screen is excellent. The feel of the phone is very solid, very well built. The back is plastic, but it looks like glass, and you get that cool pearlescent effect. This is the awesome violet or lilac, I think, is the name of this color. Yeah, you make of that what will. But talking about the rear housing, let's look at those 3 cameras on the back and give you our thoughts on the Samsung A55. So, triple cameras, what are they? 50 megapixel main, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro. Both the front and rear, the front camera is 32 megapixel, both the front and rear can record 4K 30 FPS. Sick, love it. The reason we're saying sick and that we love it is because we have a number of smartphones that we've tested previously that are megapixel wise sit in that same category, but only cap at 1080p 30 FPS. In fact, very soon we'll have a video of a phone that has a 64 megapixel main camera lens that is capped at 1080p 30 FPS. Why? We don't know. Anyway, the cameras, let's talk about those. It's classic Samsung. You get really vibrant photos regardless of the circumstance, regardless of the situation, in whichever mode you take them. So wide, ultra wide, 2x, 5x, no matter how much you're zooming in, you're going to get super vibrant photos. So it does brighten up what is relatively recently been quite dull weather. So whether you like that or not, we are Samsung users. We've had an S23 Ultra since the day of launch, and we're used to that color profile and the way the color saturation, the contrast, etc., and how it punches out more brightness in darker areas. We're used to that. If you're not, and you're used to a more flatter, real to life profile, it might take some adjustment. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I just think it's just the way the software works for these different companies. If we move on from that to night mode quickly, surprisingly, really good results. It takes good, clear photos, but without over brightening the shadowy, darker areas, which for some reason a lot of Samsung smartphones have done in the past. Maybe this is a new processing style for Samsung cameras, but they're very good. 4K 30 FPS on the front and the rear. Good, excellent color reproduction, good quality, good sound output. To be fair, it's just a solid performer. Overall, the A55's cameras are just solid, and that's probably the best way to describe them. So if you're in the market for a smartphone that does a good job on its cameras, it's going to give you good color reproduction, good quality, then the A55 is going to be a good choice. So display on the Samsung A55, 6.6 inch, Super AMOLED, super bright if you're inside, maybe not so much outside, 1000 nits of brightness, 120 Hz, HDR10+. Now the display is cracking. I would say the color reproduction in looking at photos or just browsing, or the way you have text on display, or if you're watching a video, so like we are here, you're watching just a normal nature sort of clip 4K in 60 FPS. The color reproduction is as you'd expect from a Super AMOLED display, and is what you'd expect from a Samsung display. Excellent. Dark areas are dark, and then your brighter areas pop. The color is stunning. So watching content, reading back things, just general day-to-day use, it is excellent. Maybe not so much outside on a super bright day, which is hard to test because it's still quite dull here in Wales, but generally really good quality. In terms of the sound profile, well, we've popped up in a video of a Bugatti, which is standard fare for us for some reason. Make up your own estimations. I would say personally, generally just watching things on like Netflix and YouTube whilst using the phone, I thought that the sound output was pretty good. But let's play back some sound, and in the comment section, let us know what your thoughts are in terms of the sound output. So let's talk power processor grunt of the A55. Now it's powered by an Exynos 1480. Wait, don't hate. Android 14 out of box, and the best thing, One UI 6.1. Now when we're talking about software, let's touch on that quickly. 5 years of software and security updates. They haven't officially said that. I don't believe, I couldn't find any material online, but that's just sort of the stronger rumor that I've seen, which is amazing. This phone will run you till 2029, which is absurd. I love this new investment in longevity for smartphones is amazing. Good for eco waste, good for people's investment as well, especially if you're paying 400, 450 pounds. Now the processor will go straight to a cut of a gaming session on Call of Duty. Can't fault it. To be honest, the way it handles the graphics, the demands of the task, etc. are really good. Only thing we would say though, it does get a little bit warm when it's pushed. How much that matters, how much you're going to game on your A55 will make it so. So we game between an hour-ish, give or take, in total, on and off camera. We thought the phone got a little bit hot, but not too hot to not handle, essentially, which is absolutely fine because it does get pushed quite a bit, especially if you're running quite a lot of gaming. In terms of day-to-day use, 120 hertz, perfect, no real issue. So browsing the web, reading through articles, just generally scrolling through your menus, and then the horsepower of being able to handle multiple tasks, having apps switching between different things. Again, pretty straightforward, pretty easy, nothing too demanding. So again, it ticks off another thing that in this area where you've got your mid-range sub $500 smartphones, it's another check in the box for the A55 that handles the majority of what you're going to be using your phone for pretty well. The best way to define this phone is that it's a solid performer. There's nothing spectacular about this phone. There's nothing spectacularly bad about this phone. It's just a solid mid-range performer. So for most people, that will check the boxes. There are a lot of upsides here as well. So you've got Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, trying to say a quick time fast, IP67 dust and water resistant. It doesn't have wireless charging, but then it does have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So there's ebbs and flows to buying an A-series smartphone. I personally would say this is an excellent migration from the A54 to the A55, only because it adds tweaks and elements. The real win here, I would say personally, is a design language. The fit, the feel, the finish is excellent. And then those software updates for 5 years, we've only got Android 6.1 straight out of the box, One UI 6.1, Android 14 straight out of the box, is again a really good win. So if you're in the market, you want to spend less than $500 and you want a solid all-round performer that does what it wants to do and nothing more, then the A55 may well be a really good option for you. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, peace out.